Hey guys, gonna cut this a little bit short today. This is gonna be a short video, quote unquote short, right? You know, I used to do 15-minute videos all the time, but I guess YouTube upgraded my status, so I can post longer videos these days. So anyway, but the thing is that this video is gonna be a bit shorter because I got so much stuff to do. Working in my field, planting whatever today. But I did want to do a short video. Wanted to talk about a few small things. You guys know I always carry a knife on me. Or, I'm always armed when I'm on property. So, I mean, in this day and age, hate to say it, but you have to be armed when you're on your property because these are not the best of times. You got people roving around, homeless, whatnot, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get crazier. So, I mean, last night, I was awakened about 3 o'clock in the morning. Thought I heard something. Thought I heard something in my sleep. I had just fallen asleep earlier, maybe an hour or two earlier. I'd fallen asleep, but woke up and it sounded like somebody had stubbed their toe, and I heard that a couple of times. Well, when I was younger, I would have just grabbed a shotgun and went out and done something about it, or big knife or something, But the house is secure. Nothing to steal outside. And I thought, well, it's quite possible it could be someone moving through the area that's either homeless or a backpacker or something, because we do get a lot of backpackers around here. There are backpacking trails, not on my property, but somebody might have just been, moving through. They're going to move through at night. That's the thing. So that's why you got to keep your stuff secure on your property. You got to keep the stuff locked up on your property. Don't give anybody anything to steal, But, I always keep something next to me and on the bed. Not next to the bed, on the bed. And I have a tent. I have a bed tent. So I zip up just like I'm in a regular tent. It's got screens. So I got the advantage. If anybody ever broke into the house and came into my room, I would have the advantage. They wouldn't see what I had until it was time to rock and roll. You know what I mean? So the advantages of a bed tent is it isolates you from the rest of the room. It's warmer in the winter, and it isolates you from potential intruders. They can't see what you're up to. You could see what they're doing. If you're looking out from a black material tent, through a screen or something, you can see what they're doing. And your room, you see. So you could just wait until it's the opportune moment and do whatever you're going to do. Better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6, as they say, right? So, but anyway, I heard a couple of noises like that outside. It's a very rural area here. Now, I wasn't going to go outside and, just take somebody out just because they meandered into the property somehow. sometimes you got to pick and choose your battles. Is it worth going through all the legalities, or is it just something that could pass and you don't have to worry about it? Now, I got cameras on the property. I could pick up the phone, look at all the cameras, see what's going on. I didn't see anything. So, it could have been nothing. Could have been who knows what, right? Anyway, not worried about it. But the thing is that we have to be uh, security conscious, especially nowadays. You know, these are the ends of the book, the Bible. Okay, this is the ending part. Okay, we're at the end. We're near the end. Okay, where it says the end at the end. So you just gotta be conscientious about what's going on. You gotta keep your place secure. You gotta keep your stuff secure. Keep your doors locked. You know, on your vehicle or vehicles, on your home. Man, I remember when I was a kid, we never even locked our house doors when we would go away. It was it was like that. You didn't have to worry about somebody coming and busting into your house or swiping stuff. None of that. No, not at all. That was a lot of years ago. Things change. Anyway, I'm always strapped with something when I go on property for animals, two-legged and four-legged both. Um, as you can see, I'm wearing, the Cold Steel Trailmaster right now. So I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff in the field today. But anyway, yeah, so I thought I would talk to you a little bit about that. Because it's not going to go away. It is not going to go away. This is an issue that's only going to become more and more of a concern. They're talking about uh, oil shortages and oil product shortages and stuff like that. Auto parts and whatnot. Their distribution centers. I mean, because of Iran, right? Because they still were messing around with that. I would not be overly concerned about that. Just to make sure that your engines and stuff are taken care of. Use high quality oils that last longer than your average regular motor oil, engine oil, I should say. Some people call it motor oil, but there's a difference. An engine is combustion. Motor is electric. So, yeah. Just to clarify, some people get real nitpicky about that. Yeah. So, I'll be working in the field today. I'm going to be planting things. I got, the whole seedling thing. I found that a lot of things they say, oh, direct sow, on the package. If you go and you buy some seeds, good seeds, by the way, buy some Johnny's or Baker Creek or something like that, heirloom, organic. Oh yeah, direct sow. But the problem is you got crows and ravens and other birds, any and all kinds of birds that'll watch you put those seeds in the field. And then when you're not looking, they'll go over there pecking around in the ground looking for those seeds, and next thing you know, you don't have seeds. Or stuff didn't grow where you thought it was going to grow or something. You got to watch that stuff. So the solution is to take toilet paper rolls the cardboard roll, take the roll out of the toilet paper, cut that in half or a third, and put dirt in there, put your seed in there, get it started. You know, have trays of those things. You know, and water those. That way you have more control. And then when you feel it's about time, just go ahead, bore a hole, drop that thing in the ground, and the cardboard will disintegrate. Because paper comes from trees. You know what I'm saying? So cardboard comes from trees. So, I mean, if you want to get real nitpicky, you could cut the toilet paper roll in half once it gets to a certain stage, take it off, throw it away in a trash bin, and then just drop the dirt, because it'll have roots by then. The dirt and everything, and the seedling all in the hole, and then, get it on its little way. You could do that. But the thing is people say, well, if you put that toilet paper roll, that toilet paper roll in your field, you got to draw the line somewhere, with nitpickiness. The thing is that will disintegrate. It'll get tore up into the ground. Anyway, so you can do it either way. Toilet paper roll lets you keep control of the bundle, But the thing is fighting with the birds. The birds are always getting into the field. Over in the UK, they have these motion sensors. They're cool. So, what's cool about them is that birds get in the field and all of a sudden, boom, shotgun sound, scares the birds out of the field. So, yeah. I don't know how those work because I don't have one. It'd be cool to have one, though. Yeah. So it's like a shotgun going off. Birds get in the field, boom. Makes a huge shot, sound like a shotgun going off, and the birds scatter. They get the heck out of there. They're like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe it's not safe to eat here. Maybe it's not safe to go pecking around in this farmer's field. We don't got cool things like that here. It seems though, the United States used to be a very agricultural friendly environment, and it's very unfriendly anymore. You got farmers that are paid to throw away GMO crops, not because they're GMO, but because they want to control the food supplies. You got farmers, the government pays them. See, I have a very big issue with government being involved in the food market. I would never partake in that. You got people growing Monsanto crap, and then let's say something blows into somebody else's field and all of a sudden you got crops that are GMO growing there. And then, they want to sue them because they're supposedly growing GMO crops. They didn't even have anything to do with it. Luckily, I'm in an area here where nobody wants pesticides along the roads or anything. So I'm thankful for that. I mean, we've had a lot of Amish people come up in this area poking around. I think that they were looking to maybe start other communities or, other farms or whatnot. Maybe there's just not enough elbow room in Pennsylvania or Ohio or whatever. But we've had, bus loads of Amish people up in my area, which, I would welcome that, because if I ever needed help, with certain things, I know that I could call on them, and they would be trustworthy, you know, whether it had to do with, my barn, or with the house, the roofs, uh, questions about growing stuff, because, they've been passing that stuff on, mouth to ear for generations, you know, fathers teaching sons, uncles teaching sons, or uncles teaching nephews, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So they've been doing that for several generations. Since this country has started, things have been like that for, you know, originally just for the founding people, and then for people that immigrated here, and integrated into society. That's the key word, integrated into society, right? We've got so many people that want to come here and they want to start over, you know, the same crap that they had in another country. You don't do that. And I don't care who you are or where you're from, that is not the way that we do things in the United States. Now, I saw yesterday, uh, there are many people from England looking to relocate into the United States. They are more than welcome. However, we will not put up with any baloney that they have going on in England. Don't come over here with anti-gun views. Don't think you're going to come and bring your political thoughts to this country. Ain't going to happen. You better be willing to come here and buy an AK-47 or an AR-15, a few shotguns. You better be willing to come here and adopt our culture. That's the thing. You have to be willing. If you are going somewhere, you need to be willing to leave your culture behind and adopt our culture. We have a gun culture in the United States. That's right. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is something that if you want to come to the United States, you better be willing to embrace, because it ain't going away. It doesn't. You know what? It does not matter how many pieces of paper politicians sign. I don't care. It doesn't matter how many pieces of paper, how many times they convene their little courts or whatever to talk about the Second Amendment. It's not going away, and we as a people are not gonna let it go away. This country's always gonna be armed, and we will fight a second revolution over our rights, which are not given by government, they're given by God. Okay? We have a right. Okay? We have a right. The Constitution is there to say, hey, government, these are our rights and you will protect them. End of story. That's what it's about. It's not, the Constitution doesn't tell us what we can do. We're telling the government what we can do, and they are to protect those rights. That is how it works. But it's gotten flip-flop because people are ignorant. The young people are ignorant. They think, oh, well, if they get rid of that amendment, we can't have guns no more. Oh, no. He who holds the gun makes the rule. That's right. He who holds the guns makes the rules. So that's why nobody's ever giving up guns in the United States. I don't care who you are, cop, lawyer, slimy politician, it doesn't matter who you are. The people are never giving up the guns. Make all the stinking laws that you want. You got people out there like me who don't give a crap. I think most people in the United States are done. Done giving a crap. Done trying to play nice, and the gloves are going to be coming off. So you better just keep that in mind. That's just the way things are. And the way things are going to be. You know, this is the quote-unquote 250th year of the United States or whatever. Thing is, look, we are oppressed compared to what we were. We are. There should be no gun laws in this country at all. Zero. And I don't care if felons have guns. I don't care. They can have an Uzi as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Have whatever you want. We need to get rid of all these gun laws, gun control acts, Lautenberg, all that stuff needs to go bye-bye. Because all of that stuff is in direct opposition to the Second Amendment. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Am I a broken record yet? Because I will be. It's not going to change, ever. There's going to be a second revolution at some point. 2 Thessalonians 2 says that there's going to be a revolt. Newer Bibles say there's going to be a falling away. My Bible says revolt. Mine's older. It's from the 1500s. Some people will argue that falling away and revolt mean the same thing. I kind of can see some of that. But, you know, the thing is like King James Version, it says falling away. But who was King James? He was a king with, you know, he's worried about revolution back in the day. He's worried about a revolt. My Bible says, but first a revolt. I don't think King James wanted revolt, the word revolt, in anybody's mind back in 1611 or whenever it was that, you know, he said, hey, make this translation. Thing is that people criticize. They say, oh, but your Bible's not the King James Version. You know, the thing is that what people don't realize is that don't have any, knowledge of Bible translations and stuff is that the King James is not, was not just, it didn't just appear out of nothing. Okay? It didn't. The Bible that I have, the King James is partially based on, okay? They drew from the Bible that I have to get the King James. You know, changing a little bit there. Oh yeah, just to appease the king, right? Oh, let's change that word revolt. Let's call it falling away. It means pretty much the same thing. It sounds a little less scary. It sounds kind of like, oh, let's those black rifles, those are scary. Let's call it, those are assault rifles. They're not an assault rifle. Military weapons are assault weapons. That's right. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic. It's got the scary black stock. All right. It's got the quote-unquote scary black stock. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. You know, I get tired of this ping pong crap with politicians and government. I get tired of it. I'm so tired of it. It seems like we are fighting a battle every single day, whether it's about food or our rights or whatever. It doesn't matter every single day. And you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired. And I, along with millions, hundreds of millions probably, of American people, are sick and tired of the nonsense. I'm ready for a revolution. Bring it on. I'm ready. I got maps in my area. Somebody wants to start some crap, you know, bring it on. Let's do this. Let's do it. You know, that's the way I feel about it. Let's just get this thing done and over with so that we can get on with living our lives. You know, I shouldn't have to constantly be checking packages for you know, what something has in it. I mean, I don't buy a lot of stuff at the grocery store. You know, I occasionally buy something, but I always look to see what I'm getting, and I always research products and brands and whatnot. I saw something about canned fish yesterday. You would not believe, you know, Bumblebee brand and several other brands, you know, American brands that people have trusted for decades. Oh, this don't even have any real fish in it. Or it's got fish in it that's no good for you or something. I mean, it's just crazy. How are you supposed to trust anything? I don't trust anything that says USDA on it. Do you? I don't. Because they went, you know, to go against Amos Miller down in Pennsylvania, you know, and other Amish farmers down there. You know, the USDA trying to, you know, fight with them because they don't want to inject their poisons into their cattle and whatnot. I mean, you know what? We have control over our own food. That's right. We don't need the USDA. That needs to be abolished. I do not follow their nonsense anyway. And I won't eat anything that's stamped USDA approved. Hell no. I am not. No.